I'm very excited and such a pleasure to have Marjolijn here with us today. Marjolijn and I knew each other since I think last July, July of 2021. We somehow, how did we even get connected?
I'm not sure, somewhere through the coaches community, and we connected because we were sort of on the same, working on the same steps of becoming a coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, you graduated a bit before I did, and I was really excited, and then yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad we connected, and thank you so much again for being my first guest on the series of YouTube videos that we're doing here. Marjolijn, would you like to talk a little bit about yourself, your career background, and just you in general?
Sure, yeah, and thanks for having me. I'm honored to be the first guest in this series. It's going to be a good series, everyone. So my name is Marjolijn Vlug. That's a complicated Dutch name. I'm from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And I am a co-active coach. I mainly work as a career coach, and I also support DEI professionals, so diversity and inclusion professionals in their work, keeping it up and doing good stuff long term. And I'm a professionally trained coactive coach. I graduated. I actually got my badge this weekend, which I was so surprised at. So this is fun. It's so old school, and I love that because I'm kind of an old-fashioned person in the sense that I was a granny before my age, so I always have mints in my purse and napkins and stuff like that. So I got a badge. Yay. I came to coaching from a decade-long career in HR. Was an HR advisor, HR business partner. And when I was looking at what would really fit my life when it changed, because I had kids and had different priorities and different interests, I worked with a career coach and figured out for myself that I'd rather be self-employed. So I offered HR consulting, and I thought, well, I'll offer career coaching as well, or just, resume advice. And then I loved that so much, and I really wanted to take it seriously. I wanted to offer my clients high quality coaching, and I wanted to be able to support them with the difficult questions, in addition to just, what do you put in your resume where, and what were you forgetting? So that led me to coach training, and specifically coactive training, because it's not only the most enjoyable but also the most rigorous gold standard of I don't know if it's the most, but it's definitely in the top something. International. I work with international clients, so yeah, I'm really glad I made this choice. And what I'm really happy about is seeing the impact that I can help my clients have, and that they can then have on their own lives through the sessions that we have.
That's so beautiful. And I love how your face just lit up when you said that. That's 100% true fulfillment right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what it is. Fulfillment. It's flow. When I'm working with someone, when I'm in a session, I'm really in that conversation and listening on all kinds of levels, because it's also about listening to what is not being said. And yeah, it can be hard because I sometimes forget about the time and I'm not supposed to, because we need to respect everyone's calendars, including my own. But yeah, it's definitely fulfillment in all kinds of ways. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Does it feel like that for you? What is it like for you?
Oh my gosh, 100%. Just shifting my client's perspective is magical, and I love that you said coactive is the gold standard, or one of the really good coaching institutes.
Yeah.
We were taught in Coactive that everybody and all of our clients are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. And so to allow them to believe that in themselves and bring themselves out of a stuck mindset, a stuck perspective, it's the most beautiful thing. And it's just transformational, and they're doing the work themselves. So it definitely feels very good at the end of the day, at the end of the call. And that's what drives me to do what I do.
Yeah, I can see you really
Yeah.
lighting up about that too. Yeah, and it's true. And it's what I really care about in the world in general is that people get to be who they are. That is what, for me, what connects career coaching with DEI work. It's about, you getting to be who you are. And, coaching someone to see that in themselves, and to see and to feel that, and say, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what I care about. Yeah, that really has an impact on human life.
I love how we both get a little speechless when we talk about the impact, not just the impact that we have or this work have on our clients, but also the impact that we have on ourselves. It's that's when, like, first Coactive course, and I was sold. It was like, this is it, this is what I have to do for the rest of my life.
And what I'm noticing is that you pick up on how my voice and your voice change, and how my face changes when I talk about something. And that is a really important coaching skill. That's what you do in coaching sessions too, picking that up and reflecting that back. As a coachee, you can really think, oh, wait a minute, I did light up when I said that. How do I feel about that? What does that mean? Oh, that can be an eye-opening message. So picking up on that, that's a really great coaching skill that you have. And it's funny because, it shows up in regular conversations, but that's how I know you have that skill.
It's
makes you a great coach.
Thank you. And you as well. And just think about how a lot of us don't get to be seen on a daily basis, on a regular basis, how we're just fast tracking through life, not really being noticed. And that's what I love about coaching, is you get this amount of time every so often, you talk about your goals, and you're being seen 100%. And for us to be able to witness our clients that way and honor them, and they can just take it from there, they just start soaring. It's very powerful.
Very true. It's been powerful for me. I mean, I've been coached myself, partly because I had questions that I needed a coach for, and because it's part of coach training to also really experience being coached, having the user experience. And it's been surprising that, sometimes you have something that you want to figure out, and there's a bunch of things you can do. You can go to someone who can then give you the answer, and say, well, I'm the expert, this is what you should do. And sometimes, I'm the kind of person, I want to figure it out for myself, because I'm not sure that what someone else did or what they recommend is a fit for me. I want to make sure that, is this right for me as well? So what I've been wishing for in a bunch of situations is to have someone who knows me well and who has my best interest at heart. I was thinking my best friend, but they didn't have the expertise. But to have someone just align my thoughts, like my brain is spaghetti a lot of the time. You just take the spaghetti, lay it out, connect them, and say, well, if this is how it connects, and that's what you want. And then I got coached. And what happened was it helped me do that myself and bring in not just my hamster wheel brain, but also, my gut feeling and all kinds of pieces of information that I'd completely overlooked that actually were very informative. So instead of, getting the advice and thinking, oh, okay, I'll do it if you tell me because you're the expert, here goes. I was able to make choices and find solutions that I felt excited about, that felt really right in my belly button. And that work for me, that are aligned with what I care about, what I find important, and how I want to do things. And noticing the difference has been clarifying.
Yeah. So it sounds like to me coaching, and I mean, I know this, but I'm just kind of pointing out, organizing what I'm hearing. Sounds like coaching to me is someone comes to us with a goal, and because they want to achieve this goal so much, sometimes their thoughts can get scrambled a little bit. It's like a hairball. And we're just trying to untangle little pieces of it and putting what's important up on the board, and then go, okay, now you have a clear picture. Where do you want to go from here?
And then suddenly where you want to go from there.
Yeah.
I know, I don't need to tell you. I can give you practical tips. That's a different thing, different conversation, but you'll know.
Yeah. And so it's funny because a lot of people who don't really know coaching come to us and say, well, how do I know that you have the expertise in coaching this topic with this field? And we go, no, you know what's best for yourself, and you know your area of expertise. It's almost like a sounding board, like a whiteboard or a chalkboard, where you go, here's a piece of important information, and once we see the big picture, we can put all that information together in an organized, orderly way.
Yep.
What else about coaching do you think it is that's so different and unique, but also very transformational?
What is very important in my style of coaching is the coach term is championing. And what I sometimes say is I'm a coach and also a cheerleader. So I see the facts about someone that make them, and I see the things that they are good at more than the average person that I know. And I just name those things. And being seen for that really makes a difference for people. Being seen for, the beautiful things about you, and the good things about you, and the honest things about you. That really does something to a human being.
And I can just attest to that. You have a powerful gift in championing. When I first mentioned that I'm going to do a series of YouTube videos, or I'm going to start doing YouTube videos, Marjolijn, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to say it wrong like 1,000 times, even though I've known you for so long. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Okay. Marjolijn has said to me, she said, let's do this. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be great, and you have amazing things to talk about, and people are gonna watch. And just by having, and that's our friend to friend, colleague to colleague conversation that we had. It wasn't I wasn't getting coached, but just having her championing me, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. And because I was going to fly to Amsterdam. I am in Amsterdam right now. We were actually going to do this in person. Anyways, worked out better that we do this on Zoom.
We prepared it well in person over Dutch,
really did.
very Dutch lunch.
It was delicious, by the way. It was. I just knew that everything was going to be okay.
Because it is. You said, can I do this? Of course you can. And here you are, you're doing it. Of course you can do this.
Yeah. To have someone to unconditionally support you and go, yes, you can do whatever you put your mind to. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing it. And it's also an accountability buddy kind of idea as well. And we talk a lot about accountability in our coaching training, which is so important to go, not only are you having someone championing you, to have this person who is like your cheerleader to go, hey, how's it going? I know you can do it. What are we doing? Or what are you doing? It really is, it just makes me feel that much more stronger. Like the resilience and the strength that I had in myself is amplified. And so I love that you brought up championing in
and
your
it's the thing that moves you forward, right? So it's
100%.
you know, I 100% know that you can do this and you're going to do great. And by asking about it, it helps you move forward, because then you actually do the thing that you wanted to do. If you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it, and that's fine, because then you learn from that. You maybe you think about, oh, why didn't I want to do that? Oh, interesting. But if you want to do it, you go ahead and do it. And that's another powerful thing about coaching, the accountability and the believing in you. That's what propels you forward. You go and do it and you feel excited about it and you think, yes, you actually do. And then by the next session, we talk about, well, if it's a coaching relationship right now, we're talking about it right now, we're actually doing it. But in coaching, the next session is, so you said you were going to do that. How did it go?
Yeah.
Any answer is fine, but it propels you forward. And by the end of the session, you have another thing that you want to do or be, or that helps you move forward. And there you go again. A lot of stuff happens between the coaching sessions and between our conversations, because a lot of the planning went in between. And then there you go. Yeah.
And I love that you said, if you don't do it, what's the learning in it?
Yeah. It's your life, it's your choices.
Yeah. We're constantly putting ownership, responsibility, and accountability back to, we don't take it on. We give it back to our clients or our friends or our family members or whoever we're talking to. And that actually it's almost like I'm giving you your power back. And that on its own is very empowering.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. I'm giving you your power back. Always had it.
You always had it. Yeah, you just didn't know that you can take it back. Yeah, that's beautiful. And so coming from having a career, having a job as an employee, to going on your own, what's different and what do you love the most about it?
The flexibility and the freedom, definitely. So that for me was a big part of why I chose this. I had kids and I wanted to be more flexible, spending time with them, caring for them, picking them up from daycare without worrying that I was 5 minutes before closing time and then still had to make dinner and all that. I'm more flexible in how I spend my time, and I'm more free in what I choose to do and not to do. And that makes a big difference. The one thing I was scared of was income. And there's two things. Is I've been lucky in that respect. So I've had I've had enough to come to to run my life with. And I realized for me that I actually feel more secure now that I'm in full power of getting the income I need without needing to rely on someone else to grant me that every month, or to be able to say you're out at any moment, and giving that power to someone else to be to be paid, to have money every month. That really felt insecure and unsafe, and I feel a lot safer now, because whatever happens, maybe people won't need career coaches anymore, or I don't think that will happen, because or maybe I can't do it anymore, maybe something happens to me, then I just change and do something else. And I'm in full power and full responsibility and full resourcefulness around that. You know, I can be resourceful, I'll think of something else. And I don't need to depend on someone else to grant me that, allow me that. And yeah, that's what works for me, being being a solopreneur, being self-employed. And I'm really on purpose saying that that's what works for me, because that total mix, that total package is different for everyone.
Yeah.
And priorities are different for everyone. This works for me, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. I really love how you touched on, first of all, it's not for everybody. So I mean, you and I are both self-employed now. We both quit our corporate job, and we both know that it's not everyone's cup of tea. But what was really important in what you said was, you said for you, and this is, I guess, for someone who's considering going out on their own, is to rely on someone else to pay you an income feels more powerless than going out on your own and not having to worry about, oh, am I going to lose my job next month, or just because of the economy of COVID.
I feel so much more job security now that I'm self-employed. And I didn't expect that. But I feel it in my bones.
Yeah, and that's not something that we hear every day, especially in an Asian culture. Like, job security is everything, and that means you're hired by somebody. And during the pandemic, we all saw that firsthand, that things can go wrong in any second. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. The only thing we know is, well, I hope we all know that we are in control. And when we feel like we're in control, that job security provided by someone else is no longer necessary. It's not a priority, because we know whatever happens tomorrow, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I really love how light that is energetically.
Yeah, I like that you said light, because I really love the metaphor. And this metaphor that I'm gonna say goes for people who are employed as well. It's the metaphor of the bird that's not worried about the branch breaking, because it trusts its wings to fly to another one.
I love that. What color is your bird?
I don't know, I'm thinking blue now, but that's...
I was thinking, okay, the reason why I was asking that was because I saw a blue bird on a branch. That's why I have to ask. So that's so crazy.
That was a lively, vivid metaphor.
That was awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, she's not good. There's no way she's gonna say blue. But this happens so often in our conversation that things kind of just come together. It's amazing.
It's alignment.
Yeah, it definitely is. And so now that you're in, so I believe you started doing career coaching. And now you're expanding your services to different parts. What are the different types of people you coach, or topics or areas, I guess?
Well, I work with international people, mainly in the Dutch job market, but that could be Europe, that could really be anywhere. But most of my clients are in the Netherlands, international people who are realizing that whatever worked for them before isn't working now, either because they're in a different culture, a different context, and trying to find a job in what worked before isn't getting them interviews right now, or isn't getting them hired, or they are in a different stage of their career. So starting out their career, they got any random job and they did great at it and got promoted or learned lots of things. They could just do anything you threw at them. And they think, but wait a minute, maybe I don't want to do all those odd jobs anymore. Maybe I want to choose something that I really want to do. What is that? And then there's people who are good at lots of things. They're multi-passionate, they're multifaceted, they're multi-potentialites. And they think, well, out of all of those things, how am I going to make a straight story out of that employers are going to understand? I love all of these people. I have been all of these people. And that's the career coaching that I mainly do. And then, you know, I just talked about having the space and feeling what it's like to really be who you are, being yourself, creating a job that fits you, or finding a job that really fits you. That is, to me, that is all about inclusion in your own life, in your organization, and especially in light of where the world is turning, made me realize this extends to everyone. So that means diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and especially the inclusion part is something that I really care about personally. Actually, the first degree that I got was hotel management, and that was all about hospitality and welcoming and making people feel included. I later realized that for me, that was more of a concept than for other people, but inclusion I really care about. And what I see, I'm not an expert in DEI, but I'm a great coach. I'm a professionally trained coach. And what I'm seeing is that people who are those experts, who are those professionals, take on a really tough job. And those people I support, because I do know enough. I know the terms, I know the dynamic. I continuously do the work myself personally. I read the books. So I support DEI professionals and aspiring DEI professionals and allies to connect what they do with what they really care about. That makes it easier to keep going. The accountability that is a built-in part of coaching really comes in handy. And also processing difficult situations, whether it's a difficult situation because you're an ally and you think, oh, did I mess up there? Or, and especially DEI professionals who get so much thrown at them, whether it's inside an organization, you know, thinking you have commitment and then you don't, or microaggressions, all kinds of things, or just slow pace when you really care about this and you want things to change, you want to move the needle. Processing all of that, and preventing the energy drain of it, or replenishing that energy, reconnecting. That is something that coaching can bring, and especially solid, well-trained professional coaching does. I mean, that's what coaching does, and that's what I offer DEI professionals. And that so far, that's been you know, anything from women of color to white males and everything in between, in all different ways. Yeah. And I really care about both for the same reason, both the career coaching and the DEI coaching. Yeah.
Thank you for being a part of, I always say, you're our ally. We can't just, well, we can, but it's not as effective if we only have people of color doing DEI work. We need all the support we can get. We need as many allies as we can reach out to. So thank you. As a, I guess, do you consider yourself as Caucasian? I just want to make sure I'm not generalizing.
Yeah,
so as
white. The term in the Netherlands is just plain white.
Just white. as a white woman, this is going to sound, when I say that, the North Americans are going to say that's politically incorrect. But as a white woman, how do you see yourself? And I know you said a little bit about how you support your clients. But what's important about being a part of this work? This is such a important can sometimes be heavy
Mhm.
work.
What's important about it? I believe everybody deserves to feel included in their life, in their community, in their workplace.
Mm, yeah.
That's just it. And anything that hinders that, I and especially, and there's all kinds of aspects of inclusion, and especially diversity. I mean, there's all diversity wheels that are being drawn about all the kinds of ways human beings are diverse. So that includes gender diversity, and that's a privilege I don't always have as a cisgender woman. I haven't had the privilege that men have had. And as a white woman, have had privileges that women of color and Black women haven't had. So there's there's neurodiversity, and there's all kinds of layers of privilege and intersectionality that come into play there. And yeah, that just, and especially racism is, it's just the beast that slays them all.
Yeah.
So I care about people being included in all those categories, on the diversity, in all of those categories, but racism is the biggest beast to slay.
Mm.
And for that reason, it is prominent in our conversation here and on my mind. It's not the only thing, but it is one of the most prominent things, maybe the most prominent thing, especially when it comes to DEI work.
Yeah. And thank you again. I mean, I can if we think you and all the Caucasian people who are doing this, being a part of this amazing work, I can't thank you all enough. And as part of this work, it can be heavy. Your clients are going to bring a lot of heaviness and emotions. At the end of the day, after a call, how do you unwind and how do you take care of yourself?
I personally, I build in space in my days. I listen to, I pick up the signs. I try to, I don't always succeed, but I aim to pick up the signs that my body gives me. Feeling tired, feeling hurt, or my gut feeling, just, this morning I should just, sit behind my computer and start working. And what I did was I just sat on the sofa for a bit because I needed the space, the brain space. And then there's some techniques, and in coaching we call that embodiment, using the body. And there's some metaphors and some exercises that I do to do something with my body, and let that sort of exemplify it and be a metaphor for letting stuff go. Because then you're not trying to do it with your brain, you're doing it with your body, so you're not spending time in that hamster wheel brain, you're letting it go. And that helps. And I do really need to do that, and I'm actually being coached on partly on doing that myself, because it can be a load to carry that I don't put down. It can be that boulder on your shoulder that's there all the time, and I can carry it for a little while, but I need to put it down, because if I'm having it here all day, all week, all year, that's just, something is going to break. So I'm not throwing it out the window, but putting it away. By the way, the sunset's coming through the window.
I saw that.
Wondering what that is.
Are you good? Did you want to?
Yeah, I'll see. Now it's really dark.
Oh, how do you do that?
Here we go. That's better. So Strebby face, strebby dog. I'm matching.
We're totally
So,
matching.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so important. And sometimes when we're doing this work, it takes a lot out of us.
Mm.
You know, and this is not as well, at least for me, not complaining or anything like that, but and this goes to all jobs, like all jobs, all careers, everything that
Mhm.
you're doing. You have to listen to your body,
Mhm.
and where you have to not dismiss, we have to not dismiss the weight, the heaviness, and we're in a society that we're constantly go go go. You know, it's almost like we're rewarding ourselves with the tiredness that we're feeling and wearing
Mhm.
it as a badge of honor, and that's not gonna last. That's why there's burnouts, and that's why people get numb with what they do. And with such important work that you're doing, um, it's so important to listen and take care of yourself first. So I'm glad that you have a way.
Yeah, I need that because otherwise, I crash, and I have. I do. So, yeah, but it's too important
Yeah,
to crash and stop. This needs to keep going.
yeah. So I mean, it sounds like what you're doing and your life, your career right now is really fulfilling. And so this next question is kind of tied to fulfillment.
Mhm.
Um, what does, and when we do this in coaching training, and so this might bring up a lot of memories, but what's a fulfilling life look like for you?
Mm. Um, a fulfilling life for me means connection,
Mm,
being connected to friends, family, professional friends. My kids call them work friends. So I don't have co-workers anymore, so we call them work friends. A connection to me, to what I really care about, to learning. I'm constantly learning new things. I'm constantly getting new books and, and diving in. Beauty. I need a
mm,
bit of that or I can't keep going. Whether it's art or nature. Um, and space.
mm.
And that's a very personal word because it means different things to other people.
Yeah.
But space, it's funny, especially in coaching, there's you can realize that some specific word means a lot to you when to other people it doesn't, or it can be, I don't know, peanut butter, and it means the world to you and it means all kinds
Yeah.
of things, and other people go, peanut butter, what?
Yeah. What do you value, right?
Yeah, peanut butter. Space.
Mm,
Space for other people to be them, space for me to be me, space to just be sometimes.
mm,
And that's not always easy, with young kids, with building a business, with social responsibilities, with the community, with family, with work, with all kinds of stuff that I either made up or people show up, and it's life and it's conventions and it's culture and it's, the people around
mhm.
you. And I need space sometimes. So a fulfilling life includes space for me. Yeah. And books. Did I mention books?
Yeah. I love how, yeah, your picture, your background definitely tells a story,
Yeah.
like what's
Yeah.
important to you. Yeah. And if I was to get a little coachy, I don't mean to, but I really want to ask
Go
this
ahead, be it
question.
on.
um, what does space look like for you? And I know you said it's providing space for others and yourself. What does that look like?
Yeah, it's funny. The first place my brain went to is breathing space.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's literally breathing space. And in some ways it's having, 15 minutes or half an hour between meetings so you can have a toilet break and grab a new cup of tea. And sometimes it is the space between breaths. So this is an exercise that I do sometimes, or a suggestion that I give my clients is, breathe in, breathe out, and then let your body breathe in when it needs to. So there's a pause between your out breath and your next in breath, because your body's going to do that anyway at the moment it needs it. And you don't need to do that decide for your body. It's going to, it's a physical instinct. It's going to do that anyway. And just that tiny pause, sometimes that's the space.
Well, thank you for creating space.
Yeah. You're welcome.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I really believe it's important.
Yeah, 100%. So to wrap this conversation up, what would you like? I have two questions. One is, what would you like people to know more about coaching?
There's coaches and coaches, both because coaches can be trained in a different way. Sometimes that's why, getting a coach who's accredited, who has proper coach training can be helpful. And also because, coaches bring their own being, their own personality. So if you don't feel the connection, then that's not the coach for you. Or if at some point you need a coach who's really, and some other time for something else, you need a coach that's, there's coaches and coaches. You can't tell me, oh, I went to a coach, it didn't work, so coaching's rubbish. No, it's just, you went to a hairdresser, they messed up your hair, so you're never going to a hairdresser again. No, you go to a different one that's better suited to cut you. Coaching is the same.
That's so important.
And the other thing, so that was a very long first one. The other thing is, coaching is more easily experienced. Good coaching is more easily experienced than it is explained. So if you have the chance, go and have a trial session, go and have a low-cost session with a coach who is in training, go and have a proper coach and a full-on coaching session and try it out. Most coaches, especially the good coaches, and the coaches that I know, offer a free sample session before you really dive in, exactly because you want to try out whether this is the coach for you. And it's also a very good opportunity to try on coaching, because experiencing it and then try to explain what it's like is a whole different thing. How am I going to explain how ice cream tastes? Well, what is it like to have ice cream? I can talk to you about it, but when you actually do it, you think, oh.
I absolutely love those two very important points. It's like when I some of us have experienced same thing with counseling or therapy. You don't just go to one counselor or therapist and say, this is stupid. Why would anyone do this? No, you talk to the right person and you'll click. And there's so many of us that has very different personalities and way of coaching,
approaches and styles.
Very different styles. And a client who comes to you, who loves you, might come to me and say, Debbie and I just don't click, and that's totally fine. And if you meet a coach like you and I, we're always like, okay, if it doesn't fit, let me refer you to someone else, because we have a huge community, and in our community we're constantly like, oh, the client didn't feel like it was the right fit. Does anyone else want to have a sample session? So, and that's what I love about our community. So definitely such important points that you brought up there. And yes, you have to experience coaching with an open mind to see how powerful it can be. So thank you for mentioning those. And the last question, because I'm a money mindset coach, so I'm going to ask a abundance related question. What does abundance mean to you?
The first thing that comes up for me is aliveness. So yeah, feeling alive and living your life in a lively way. And abundance in that way, and anything that enables and allows that. And sometimes that's money and privilege of being able to afford things, and it's also the abundance of all the other things that make your life more juicy and alive.
It's the experience as well. It's the light that's shining on your hair, the books that you have behind you. It's everything. And
money mindset isn't a big enabler, and it's not the end goal.
No.
And it's, for a lot of people, it is a big enabler and a big hindrance when it gets in the way. So I'm really grateful that you do this work, because that is valuable work that has a lot of impact on people's real lives.
Thank you. Money mindset is so beyond just about money. We just call it money mindset, but really it's like what you said, we have to feel richness in every single part of our lives. The food that we eat, the things that we see, the people that we meet, in order to feel abundant. Thank you so much for all the wisdom, the knowledge that you shared today. And I always have a great conversation with you.
Thank you for the great conversation. It's nice to talk about this.
It's we're so aligned when we talk about coaching and the stuff that's important for us. And it just goes to show when we're aligned with the work that we do, we're aligned with the people that we connect with, and it's just a beautiful thing.
And you're a really nice person to talk with.
Oh, thank you. You as well. And I think that's why we just get along so well. It's when Marjolijn when we first connected, it's just mind-blowing how this journey had allowed me to connect with someone who's from Amsterdam. I would never have thought in a million years. So
pretty much on the other side of the globe. Now you're here in Amsterdam, and we're having lunch and meeting up with other coaches as well this week.
Really looking forward to that. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much for being on here today.
Thanks for being here.
We'll talk soon.
Yes.